I never thought that we would see the day where Diddy would get arrested, and I told you guys in that Maria Z interview in 2021 that no one tells on Diddy.
Is Ali Carter being silenced?
I'm sure she is. I hope it's not my fault.
People thought Ali Carter was just another name floating around Diddy's mess, just background noise in a loud scandal. But now she's saying, nah, the real damage didn't even come from Diddy directly. She's saying the truth cuts way deeper. And if you've been tapped into this whole Diddy saga, you already heard the whispers about those Freakoff parties. Folks been saying those rooms weren't just wild, they were reckless. No rules, no limits, just chaos, allegedly. Ally, the same girl who's been claiming she saw it all up close, is now laying out how she says she got pulled into that world and what it cost her. According to Ally, this didn't start when she was grown or chasing attention. She says it started when she was still a kid. She's claimed the foster system didn't protect her, but instead allegedly funneled kids to powerful people, with Diddy's parties being one of the stops, not as guests, not as performers, but as party favors.
Trafficking over the border was for who? Child Protective Services is your supplier. Is anybody gonna talk about that? The immigrants that are coming across the border, that all those kids that they were just scooping up out of boats and out of the water, they're now coming in and they're throwing them right into the system. Aurora, Colorado, Springfield, Ohio. Where do you think all those kids are going?
Her words, she says she was one of those kids. Underage, terrified, dropped into rooms full of grown celebrities with money, power, and connections she couldn't even understand yet. She's described being passed around spaces where nobody asked her age, nobody checked consent, and nobody cared what kind of damage they were doing.
What does that mean? It was a party favor. That was somebody you could take off the table.
So you're telling me they set
children on a table.
Like when you go to a birthday party and they have gift bags for everybody that comes that have candy and toys in them,
yep.
And they set them on the table. So you're telling me at the Freakoff parties, mm-hmm. They put children on the table instead of gift bags.
Mm-hmm.
She says she wasn't alone either. Other kids were there too, young, confused, frozen, while grown men laughed, drank, and treated it like entertainment. When you hear her talk, there's no polish, no performance. Just pauses, a shaky voice, and trauma that doesn't sound rehearsed. Believe every word or not, one thing's clear, whatever she's describing broke her. And according to Ally, the damage didn't stop at emotional scars. She's hinted she left those parties with more than memories. She claims she caught an STD. And when people zoom out and look at everything else coming out about Diddy's world, that part doesn't even sound wild anymore. For years, folks been whispering about Diddy's bedroom lifestyle, the downloads, the male escorts, the secret flights, the locked-door freak-off parties where phones disappeared and nobody talked. Back then it was brushed off as mogul behavior. Now those whispers sound like alarms. Allegedly, these parties involved hired escorts, men and women, no protection, no boundaries, just baby oil and reckless behavior. And when the feds raided Diddy's properties, they didn't find protection kits or anything about safety. Just baby oil, thousands of bottles, enough to make people uncomfortable, because oil without protection is how infections spread.
And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the Freakoffs. More than 1,000 bottles altogether.
And now women are stepping forward saying they caught herpes from men tied to Diddy's circle. Not just rumors, actual claims, lawsuits, medical receipts. Even Jaguar Wright went all the way in. She didn't just mention herpes. She claimed Diddy had been battling HY-Vive for years allegedly, and she said he wasn't alone. She claimed there's a list of about 20 other men in the industry infected through that same circle, big names, well protected, and she said she's sitting on that list.
Could have that opportunity just like everybody else.
I mean, he actually caught HIV, like having a lot of women.
Oh yeah, let's just go down the rabbit hole of all of his sins.
I'm just saying.
You want to know what's wild about that though? He faced that head up.
He did.
And he didn't stop. And he didn't stop doing what he's done.
He an advocate. Now he did that, and he
Period.
made,
Like, listen to me. He faced that head up. How many dudes is running around undetectable, G,
come on,
in the game?
man.
Because I could tell you 20 right now.
Now Ally Carter is hinting that some of the same names people been whispering about might be tied to what happened to her. And the first name she mentioned that made people sit up straight was Usher. Let's rewind. Usher's history with Diddy isn't secret. He lived with him in New York when he was just 13. Back then it was sold as mentorship, industry guidance. Years later, when Usher spoke on it himself, his tone changed. He called that environment very curious.
But hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at. It was pretty wild.
And he made it clear he would never let his own kids experience what he did.
Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
That alone raised eyebrows. Then years later, Usher's name shows up in lawsuits where women alleged he gave them herpes. Multiple women. Allegedly. Usher denied wrongdoing, but the pattern stuck in people's minds. So when Ally hints she may have picked something up from one of the men at those Freakoff parties, people start asking uncomfortable questions. If Usher was around Diddy's circle, if he was in those environments, could Ally have crossed paths with him? Could she have been another young girl harmed while the industry called it normal? Nobody, saying it, proven, but people are connecting dots whether anyone likes it or not. And then the next name hit even harder. Denzel Washington. Yeah, that Denzel. According to Ally, she claims she saw him at one of these Freakoff parties. A name nobody ever expected next to Diddy's alleged chaos. Clean image, family man, respected.
And you're telling me Denzel was there and it was after 1 o'clock when he supposedly left?
And beanie socks and a gold chain.
So you're telling me Denzel Washington was kid? He had a beanie on, socks on, and a gold chain, and that's it. In front of funny. Because he sure portrays himself to be holier than thou.
So a lot of them do.
There have been stories floating for years about a party in the early 2000s where Denzel allegedly confronted Diddy and walked out. People say he yelled that Diddy didn't respect anyone and left with his wife after seeing something he didn't like. If that's true, it paints him as someone who walked away. But Ally's claim flips that story. If Denzel was present at a Freakoff party, even briefly, people start asking, what did he see, and more importantly, what did he do? Did he leave immediately, or was he around before things crossed a line? And if Ally was being used as a party favor, could she have been used by men whose public images never showed that side? That's the question ripping the internet in half. Because if someone like Denzel was there, then no celebrity image feels safe. And then another name enters the chat, Steve Harvey. His connection to Diddy goes way back. Vacations, yachts, Italy trips, smiling photos, families together. At first glance it looked innocent, just rich people networking. But peel it back and things start looking strange. Steve traveled with Diddy alongside his wife and stepdaughter, the same stepdaughter who had been romantically linked to Diddy's son before rumors swirled about her and Diddy himself. People side-eyed that instantly. And now with Ally saying these Freakoff parties involved underage victims, folks are revisiting every connection. If Steve was around Diddy like that, people ask, did he ever attend these parties? Did he see something he should have reported? Or did he look the other way to protect his brand? Nobody saying Steve infected Ally, but in this world, just being in the room.
We're not talking about the victims that are still going through this right now with other people who are running to cover their and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running?
Now another name circling the block, Will Smith. Ally hasn't accused Will directly, but his name keeps popping up. Former associates claimed he attended Diddy's parties. Rumors about his private life been around for years. His former assistant made explosive claims that Will denied, even saying he wasn't close to Puff, though photos and clips say otherwise.
I don't have to do with Puffy, so y'all can stop all their videos.
And again, when Ally says these parties were filled with powerful men watching and participating, people start rechecking every name tied to that circle. Then there's Meek Mill. Ally hasn't named him as someone who infected her, but his name's been dragged deep into the Diddy mess. Audio leaks, vacation pics, matching outfits.
And that he'll pay somebody $100 grand to investigate that he has nothing to do with anything with Diddy.
Man, look, you can't take back what your bull received. That's just like the video that's coming out with him and Will.
What? Yo, wait a minute. Wait.
Hey, what's up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, Daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you.
If these Freakoff environments were real, and if STDs were spreading, then anybody sharing those spaces becomes part of the conversation. The uncomfortable truth is Ally's story forces a question people don't want to answer. What if celebrities stayed silent because they were there? What if nobody spoke up because they were compromised? Ally says she's not doing this for fame. She's cried on camera, shaking, saying she almost lost her life trying to speak. And whether people believe every detail or not, her claims line up with patterns in lawsuits, Diddy's sentence, and the stories from others brave enough to talk.
What about the victims? Our PTSD lives on every damn day that they did what they did. But it's only talked about when it's trending. I'm a choreographer and I love kids even though I can't have kids. So if you have met me in this time, I thank you for spending the time that you have with me. Because now that you see all this stuff on Twitter, and now that you see all this stuff on social media, you've met the real me. You've spent time with the real me. You know that I would do anything to keep a child safe. You know that I would do anything to have some peace.
So if Ally really did catch an STD at those Freakoff parties, the question is who gave it to her? Was it one of the names only now being whispered? Someone protected by fame and money? Or a system that let underage kids get passed around with no consequences? Because if even half of what Ally claims is true, this isn't just about Diddy. It's about everyone who attended, saw it, and stayed quiet. And the internet hasn't been quiet. One user wrote, "I believe Ally. I stand by you, Ally. I want justice for you, Ally." Another said, "Damn, this broke my heart. God, please continue protecting this young lady. Bless your heart for being so strong. May all evil be exposed." So what do you think? Is Ally Carter telling the truth? If these celebrities were present, does that make them guilty by association or by action? And the biggest question, if STDs were spreading in Diddy's circle, how many victims are still silent right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments, argue it out, because this story is ugly, it's loud, and this ain't over.